Welcome to BNEWS Weekly. I'm Phil Gallagher, along with BNEWS Director Rich Hosford and BNEWS reporter Chris Flaherty. Thank you for joining us. We start out this week with some non-COVID-19 news. A pedestrian was transported to Leahy Hospital and Medical Center on Monday, March 23rd, after it was reported they had been struck by a driver on Wynn Street. According to Burlington Fire Chief Michael Patterson, an ambulance in Engine 3 responded to a 3:40 p.m. call of a man who had hit by a motor vehicle near the 128 southbound ramp and Wynn Street near the Reuben line. Chief Patterson said the man was conscious and alert when emergency crews arrived. He was complaining of leg and hip pain and was transported from the scene with what the chief said appeared to be non-life-threatening injuries. Chief Patterson said that the vehicle struck the pedestrian was no longer in the area of the scene and apparently is a hit and run. The Burlington Board of Health has released the total number of confirmed cases of COVID-19 in town. According to the Board of Health, there are 8 confirmed cases among Burlington residents. However, as noted by Health Director Susan Luminello, this number may not be the full extent of the total cases in town, as there has been a lack of testing. She said this number includes residents of Burlington, not those who work and shop here, and does not include cases that have been clinically diagnosed by a physician but did not receive laboratory testing. Luminello said person-to-person spread is occurring in all cities and towns in the state. In addition, people do not need to exhibit symptoms to have the virus and could potentially spread it to others by being a carrier. She asks all residents to please stay at home as much as possible and continue to follow public health precautions to prevent virus transmission. Finally, Director Luminello said that when someone tests positive, the patient is put in isolation until released by the Board of Health based on CDC guidelines, and any close contacts are put into quarantine as well. If close contacts do not become ill, quarantine will last 14 days, however, could be longer if the close contacts reside with the patient. For the latest on the virus, we go now to Board of Health member Dr. Wayne Saltzman for this week's update.
Hi everyone, Dr. Wayne Saltzman, geriatrician and elected member of the Burlington Board of Health. Just coming to you again to help you stay informed, supported, and prepared as a member of the Board of Health and in the Board of Health efforts. So where are we today in another week which has seen many changes across our country and within our state? Now, here are the current numbers as of this morning. Over 550,000 confirmed cases of COVID-19 across the world. 128,000 of those folks have actually recovered across the world. We have 86,000 confirmed cases in our country, and we've actually surpassed China. There's 2,400 cases of COVID-19 confirmed in Massachusetts, and we know now, sadly, that there are 25 deaths in our state. 500 folks have confirmed COVID-19 in Middlesex County, and as of this morning, 11 people have confirmed COVID-19 in Burlington. What does that mean? What does that mean for a town of 23,000 to have 11 confirmed cases? Should we be relieved, or should we be overly concerned or distressed, as some folks might be thinking? I think we can be neither. These numbers just show us that COVID-19 is now within our community. It's important to understand that the Board of Health is notified by the Massachusetts Department of Public Health with regard to the number of confirmed COVID-19 cases. So we have no idea about folks coming in and out of our town who are part of essential services. We have no idea about folks who may have symptoms and call their primary doctors and are told based on symptoms that they may have COVID-19. We have no idea how many folks are without any symptoms, but still may have COVID-19. So there are a lot of questions. I think that we just need to understand right now that it's in our community, and we need to appreciate exactly how we need to act or behave every day, and we're going to talk about that in a second. You know, it's sobering to think that in New York City, that has 1/3 of the cases in our country, that they're ordering refrigerating trucks, and it's angering to hear that in New York City they actually have to take down basketball hoops in order to make sure that folks maintain social distancing and take this seriously. So the reality is, what can we do? What should we be doing in our town? Given all the information I've just told you, we should be doing the same things that we have been talking about for the past weeks, and that the Centers for Disease Control, the Massachusetts Department of Public Health, Dr. Anthony Fauci in his regular briefings via the federal government have been telling us. The message has not changed. Standard precautions: hand washing, hand washing, hand washing, protecting your cough and your sneeze, wiping down surfaces, and trying to isolate yourself when you are among others. Clean hands save lives. It's as simple as that. Anyone who thinks that they may not be affected by this illness should definitely be thinking otherwise. It is a possibility. Just want to make sure that people are safe. Check in on an older adult that you may know. If you are feeling ill, contact your doctor for further advice. We need to take care of each other. We are all in this together.
On Wednesday, Governor Charlie Baker issued further orders related to COVID-19 meant to help curb its spread. Most significantly, he mandated that all Massachusetts public and private schools remain closed through at least May 4. The governor's order included protections for renters and homeowners who are struggling to keep up with bills. The Division of Banks advised financial institutions to wait 60 days before reporting missed payments to credit agencies and to delay foreclosures by 60 days. State Rep Ken Gordon has been working with the legislature on a number of provisions to protect Massachusetts residents, both in terms of their health and their finances. He has also been doing regular updates both on our BNEWS page and with his show, Rapping with the Rep here at BCAT. You can find all of that on our website at bcattv.org and by signing up for our daily newsletter. Burlington leaders are also responding to the situation. Town Administrator Paul Sagarino said that all non-essential employees in town will be working from home. This includes everyone not in the police, fire, or public works departments, with the exception of some key medical staff in the Board of Health who are still on duty. The town is also in the process of postponing the town election originally scheduled for April 4. On Monday, the Board of Selectmen voted unanimously to set the new date for Saturday, June 6th. The change is pending state approval, but the expectation is that Governor Baker is going to sign a bill allowing all municipalities to delay elections without going through the normal delay process. The town has also implemented a full outdoor watering ban in case the water department employees become ill or have to be quarantined. If that happens, the town's 2 water supplies would not be able to run at full capacity, something that they need to do if people are both using water and watering their lawns. We will have Mr. Sagarino on shortly, and we will ask him about that. But first, here is Board of Health Chairman Dr. Ed Weiner at Monday night's Board of Selectmen meeting. After thanking everyone in town government for their hard work in this difficult situation, he said everyone is frustrated with what's going on, and he asked the public to be both diligent and patient. Let's have a look.
All people that I have just mentioned have put in hundreds of hours to do what has to be done to protect this community. And we're all tired, and it's just begun. Many of you and many of us are already frustrated. With everything that we've already done to stay well, I'm asking everybody in the town to please understand that this may only be the start. But we'll get through this crisis. We'll work together to keep everybody safe and well in this town. And we ask you to be patient. Patient with everyone, patient with the Board of Health. We're doing all that we can do to provide you support and the best of services that we can. I'm really proud of this community. I'm so proud of this town, and we'll continue to work together with everyone here doing what needs to be done. If you have any questions, feel free to call the Board of Health. Better,
ask you about the
review
Department of-
our Board of Health website for updates, sometimes multiple updates a day. We continue to staff our office, and we're there to help. Follow the public health instructions. You probably know them all by heart. You've heard them so many times. We wish you good health, and please be with everybody. We're doing the best we can. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Weiner.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you.
We also have a clip from Health Director Susan Luminello from the Board of Health's very first virtual meeting on Tuesday, talking about what the Health Department has been doing in the face of COVID-19. Let's have a look.
So I wanted to provide brief overview of the things that we've been doing past 2 weeks around COVID-19. So we have been working very closely with other town departments and the town administration to make sure that town employees are safe in their workplace. And then later on, we had to follow the governor's orders, and we're looking at essential employees. So right now we're at the point where we want to make sure that town's essential municipal functions continue to run, and we have implemented strategies around that and mitigation measures so that we can ensure that that happens. We are also working on governor's orders and enforcing those. So we've had several orders that have come out in the past couple of weeks, and we've reacted to each one of those. Most recently, yesterday, the governor's orders on the closure of non-essential services. So we have a list on our website of everything that is considered essential service. We are going through that list, making sure we are contacting those businesses that cannot remain open, having a conversation with them about that. We are continuing to inform the public through our website, and as was previously discussed, we're continuing to update our website on a regular basis. And through our public health nurse, we are doing contact tracing of COVID-19 positive cases and their contacts. So that is something that our public health nurse is doing, and I am working with her to ensure that we are meeting all the requirements that we meet, and that we are going to be able to remain staffed in that as long as this could go on for a while. So one of the things that we're looking at is how to get the public health nurse some help in that area. So we're looking at the possibility of using medical care for nurses to help out with that. We've also received funding from the state in the amount of approximately $10,000. So I'm working with the assistant town administrator as to those funds and what can be used, what we can use those funds for. We're looking at things like it would be around isolation and quarantine requirements, contact tracing, things like that. So the whole list of funds can be used for.
We go now to Town Administrator Paul Sagarino, who is sheltering in place in our satellite receiving studio for an update on what is being done at the town level during this situation. Thank you, Paul. Also, Paul, thank you for always being accessible to us here at BCAT. You never deny a request. Thank you.
Thank you for having me, Phil.
Okay, well, let's start basically from the top. Tell us about the water ban. I mean, everybody's home, probably dying to work on their yard, their grass, their flowers. Why a watering ban?
This is a tough decision, Phil, but one of the things that we're really concerned about is we only have a limited amount of water treatment plant operators. The experts tell us that eventually our employees are going to get sick, and our biggest concern is to be able to maintain the basic water requirements of the town in the event that we're unable to provide the staffing that's needed. This is a 24/7 operation. to meet the town's water needs, we have to keep 2 plants running at 24/7. And again, we only have a limited amount of water treatment operators. They're very difficult to come by. And our biggest concern there is managing the risk of having our employees get sick in this arena. We're keeping them all separate and doing all the things that our public health department has told us is important. But at the end of the day, it's one of the critical systems that we have in town that we need to maintain going forward. And again, by having an emergency water ban in place, that does allow us to tap into our neighboring communities' water supplies, which we very well may have to do at some point during this crisis. So the water ban, I know it's unpopular. We reserve the right to go back and switch it back to our normal summer odd and even, but we felt it was very prudent at this time to put the water ban in place to allow us to tap into that emergency water supply, but it will also allow us to run one of our plants and be able to maintain the water for the town and hopefully keep our operators healthy and able to come in and make water for the community.
Well, let's go to the other end of the infrastructure system and talk about the sewer department. I've seen some of the horrific pictures of sewer pumps being clogged up with inappropriate materials. How have you addressed that, and have we had a problem?
We have had a problem, and just like many other communities, I know it's been playing out on the Boston News, but clearly the Clorox wipes that have been in very frequent use since the outbreak of the virus, you know, many folks have been flushing those down the toilet. Those are clearly not biodegradable, but what Mrs. Sanchez has told me is that even the wipes that are advertised as flushable don't really degrade very well in the pipes. So they're causing a lot of backups and sewer blockages, both here in Burlington as well as throughout the state, particularly with the increased use of these wipes to wipe down surfaces and you know, disinfect doorknobs and things of that nature. So please don't flush them.
Please don't flush them. Well, the toilet paper hysteria seems to be over at this point. Now, how are you doing mobilizing the forces? I know you interact with all the departments on a regular basis. Have we put anything else in place to address it?
Well, we've already, through the assistance of our Board of Health, prior to Governor Baker's order, we had socially distanced all the offices. We've moved personnel, key personnel to different locations just to try to prevent the opportunity that a department head would get sick and a assistant department head would get sick. So we tried to prepare for continuing operations in all of our departments and moved a lot of people around to create space between people. The governor's orders came out Monday and caused us to put a new plan in place where everybody is working from home that is eligible to. But I'll tell you, Phil, we got great employees, and despite that fact, we still have key people coming into their offices to keep the town's business moving forward, whether that's to do payroll, to collect tax checks and make sure they get into the bank, to provide a marriage license or a birth certificate when someone needs it. Please do call. We are checking the messages. We have folks manning the phones. It may be a little bit slower turnaround time than folks are used to, but just know that we're here and we intend upon in serving the residents in the best way that we can, giving the fact that, you know, we're not allowed to be open to the public.
Now, unprecedented events require unprecedented responses. Let's talk a little bit about finances now. Like everywhere in the country, the business community is being crushed, particularly in the hotel business as well as, well, many businesses, but hotel and restaurants in particular. What do we see here in terms of impact on the town's budget going forward here?
Phil, as you know, where the town has always been very conservative as it comes to budgeting revenues, I think that is going to, at least in some measure, protect us a little bit in the short term here. Clearly, there's going to be a major impact, in particular to our meals tax revenues, which is a big revenue source for the town, as well as our hotel tax revenues. I mean, I think we saw the Burlington Marriott closed very quickly due to a lack of bookings very early on in this process. So those are the building permits, things of that nature that are really dependent upon the local economy we're very concerned about. again, we do budget very conservatively to try to give the town some flexibility to sort of withstand circumstances such as this. We're in the process of meeting with the school department, and we'll be getting together with the Ways and Means to discuss what type of adjustments we may need to make to the current budget situation as we move forward to 2021. So we have our eye on it. And again, I think this is going to be one of those cases where we're very fortunate that the town has always had a very conservative budgeting model in place. And again, sometimes people have questioned it over the years, but in times of a crisis, it's served the town extremely well.
Okay, well, now the other question is, have you been in touch with Jim Dory, the town assessor, in terms of, depending on how long this goes, how likely are we to see a flood of real estate tax abatement requests?
Yeah, I don't think there's any question that there's going to be a short-term impact on companies' ability to pay their tax bills. So our collection rates, we're going to have to keep an eye on that. You know, as they always do, our Board of Assessors is constantly looking at the values, and they'll be, you know, making some pretty quick adjustments based upon what's going on now. There is a little bit of a lag time in the property tax assessment schedule where we're based off of values from about 1.5 years ago in many cases. So there is a little bit of a short-term cushion in there, but certainly that's something that they, not, you know, even crisis notwithstanding, that's something that our Board of Assessors and Jim Doherty are constantly monitoring the trends just to understand where we are in terms of values within the community. Right. But certainly it is a concern. Okay,
one last financial question for you, and we'll let you get back to work. With the Fed acting to drive down interest rates to almost zero, does that present an opportunity for your financial management team to go out and refinance our debt to lower levels?
Yep, that's something that we look at every single year. Given the interest rate circumstances, we've had some unprecedented low interest rates for several years now, but in fact we did have a refinance in process, a relatively small one, but just to sort of prove the point that we're constantly evaluating where our debt is and whether we could you know, finance that at a cheaper interest rate. So we did have a small one on deck to be consummated in the near future, and I think we're going to continue on with that. But you know, looking to refinance our debt at a lower interest rate is something we do on an annual basis anyway. So,
okay, thank you, Paul Sagarino. Once again, thank you for being accessible to us on a regular basis.
Thank you for having me, Phil. Appreciate it.
Take care. As was mentioned, the closing of schools has been extended until at least May 4 because students will be out so long. Many of them, especially at the elementary level, are missing their beloved teachers, and the feeling is mutual. This week, some Burlington students had a chance to see their teachers, all the while practicing safe social distancing. BNEWS reporter Chris Flaherty has this report.
Teachers never ends. On the morning of March 26th, faculty of Pine Glen Elementary lined their cars up for a special parade through town. Guided by the Burlington Police Department, teachers cruised through neighborhood streets, waving to their kids as they passed by. Teachers decorated their cars with special signs and messages, and some students made signs to hold up when they passed by. The parade was a way for teachers and staff to let their students know they're thinking of them and have missed them since the school has shut down. It was a lovely morning as the spirit of the community was on display during these uncertain times. Until next time, this is Chris Flaherty for BNEWS Weekly.
Some of the teachers in the parade wrote to us about their thoughts on taking part in the event. Instructional assistant Samantha Casciola said it was so wonderful seeing everyone today, both teachers and students. Having everyone come together and not letting this pandemic get the best of us is what makes us this school more than just a school, but a family. It was great to see the smiles that came across the students' faces. We all missed them so much. It was hard not to tear up during the parade. It meant so much to everyone involved. Fifth grade teacher Amanda Hannafin said it was so wonderful to see the Pine Glen community, both past and present, unite together for this event. The signs, waves, and cheers brought tears to her eyes. I love the opportunity to be able to see my students smile in person during this crazy time. I hope to be back in the room soon. room 209 actually soon. RTI tutor Christine Spinelli said today was so special, and it was truly amazing to see our wonderful Pine Glen students and families. We miss seeing their smiling faces every day. And finally, fourth grade teacher Liz Clancy said driving around today was an absolute blast. I love seeing all my current and past students out in their yards as we drove by. I knew that I missed my class and being in school, but today showed me how much. I want to say thank you to all the parents that brought their kids out to wave to us. As much as it helped the kids, the teachers and staff needed it too. We miss them all so much, and we can't wait to get back to work. The school department is also talking about enrolling additional remote learning options for students. For those to work, however, students would need devices to access them, and many left them at school. To help ensure all students had an opportunity for remote learning, educators and other faculty members gathered the electronics and held a pickup day with a number of safety precautions in place. Here is Assistant Superintendent Patrick Larkin explaining how it worked.
We handed out about 200 devices. So we had to move all the devices from the middle school over to the high school. Our concern was if we had any kind of backup, in the circle, we didn't want traffic to be onto Wynn Street. So we moved it to the high school. That way, if there was any type of backup, it would be in the circle and wouldn't be anywhere near a road. And we handed them out through the auditorium. We had some walkie-talkies out there that Mr. Kunis provided us with, where we would call in the name of the person pulling up. Somebody inside the auditorium would grab those devices and in a charging cord, and we would then have somebody run it out to the vehicle that had pulled up. And it went a lot smoother than I thought it would. And I thank the families for their patience, and I really thank the staff that put in all that time and effort. As we think about, and I don't want to jump ahead, but as we think about getting to more formal, more structured learning opportunities for our kids, it wouldn't really be fair to start those if we had 200 students at home who didn't have what they needed to start that formal learning. So aside from the check-ins and taking this slow and making sure people's health needs are met and making sure people have what they need to start was a priority. So that also I wanted to make sure I mentioned.
During times of crisis, many people feel helpless and have the desire to help out in some way. Even with social distancing, there are ways to help those in your community and even in your own neighborhood. One simple thing is to check in on your neighbors, particularly the elderly, ideally by phone or email, but also by knocking and then standing back from the door. This is especially important for our elderly neighbors. Find out if they are in need of anything, and if you're a healthy person, you can add that to your list for the next time you go to the store. You can also give blood. The American Red Cross has put a call out for donations because many of their normal blood drives have been canceled, while the need for donations remains constant. According to the Red Cross, they only collect blood from healthy individuals, and they are pre-screening all donors by checking their temperature before they enter a donation center. At each blood drive and donation center, Red Cross employees follow thorough safety protocols, including wearing gloves, routinely wiping down donor-touched areas, using sterile collection sets for every donation, and preparing the arm for donation with an aseptic scrub. They are also spacing out donation beds. If you would like to donate blood, you can set up an appointment by visiting redcrossblood.org or calling 1-800-RED-CROSS. Finally, People Helping People is looking for volunteers as they are busier than usual due to their efforts to provide free breakfast and lunches to students who need them at the food pantry. Here again is Assistant Superintendent Patrick Larkin talking about the cooperation between the schools and the pantry and how people can get involved.
On the Friday that some of the central office folks were in, we had made contact with the Burlington Food Pantry, and they decided that they had a lot of familiarity with many of our families. They provide a lot of lunches during the summer, that they would be happy to help us take on the challenge of making sure that the students that we provide lunches for get these resources during our closure. So with that, I had a discussion with Cheryl Barnes, who is the co-coordinator of the food pantry. I did speak to her again today as well, as we enter week 2. But we were able to send over a number of perishable items from the schools that Friday before we went on the closure that would have gone to waste for us, and they happily took those on, and they were again distributed to a number of families, not just our families. And we've been checking in with them regularly. Both Judy Walsh and again Cheryl Barnes have been my 2 main contacts, and what they need now, if you don't mind me saying, and I'll open it for any follow-up questions, but they're doing well. They feel like they can accommodate the needs still going into week 2. They have 2 programs. They have a lunch program for kids program that they run during the summer, and that's kind of what they've picked up now during the closure, which is helping with our free and reduced lunch students and their families. And we have a document that we've shared within our Burlington Public Schools distribution list, where a number of staff members have gone over and helped with the packing of the bags for the lunches and to do different tasks to help get those out. Sorry for the plug here as well. They also have some general food pantry support they could use. And if anybody's interested in doing that, they can contact the folks by sending an email to burlingtonpantry@gmail.com. So I'm going to say that one more time, burlingtonpantry@gmail.com. If there's people in the community that have time, Monday and Wednesday would be between 9 a.m. and 2 p.m. And then Tuesday, it's 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. And Thursday, it's 9 a.m. to noon. So if you have any of those timeframes where you're available to go over to help, please send an email. Don't just go over there, but send an email, tell them your availability, and they're looking for some more bodies, again, for their general food pantry distribution. We're doing pretty well with the lunch program for kids volunteers at this point.
Don't forget, you can also make monetary donations at People Helping People Inc. That's peoplehelpingpeopleinc.org. peoplehelpingpeopleinc.org. One organization trying to help us is our local vocational school. SHAWSHEEN Valley Technical High School recently stepped up and donated medical supplies and personal protective equipment to local medical facilities in support of the evolving COVID-19 pandemic. While the school is currently closed, members of SHAWSHEEN Tech worked together to gather the much needed supplies at the facility that they had on hand. The supplies were from a variety of technical areas, including the school's life science programs and automotive collision repair and refinishing program. In total, the SHAWSHEEN Tech community came together to donate 4 cases of disposable precaution gowns, 400 N95 respirator masks, 500 face masks, 2 cases of nitrile rubber gloves, 40 face shields, safety glasses, safety goggles, 6 gallons of dial antiseptic soap, and 10 canisters of germicidal disinfectant wipes. Sorry about that. Many students, parents, and staff were instrumental in making recommendations about the organizations to receive the equipment, including institutions that are partners with the district and participate in their cooperative education program. The supplies were donated to the Leahy Hospital and Medical Center in Burlington, Sunny Acres Nursing and Rehabilitation Center in Chelmsford, New England Pediatric Care in North Billerica, Winchester Hospital, and at the Billerica Police Department. The Massachusetts Interscholastic Athletic Association is looking to reconvene a new date for the upcoming spring sports season. The organization said in a statement that in light of Governor Baker's March 25, 2020 mandate that all schools remain closed until May 4th, the status of spring sports will be addressed by the Board of Directors on March 30th conference call, and an immediate update will be provided to the membership. Among the recommendations to the board is that if there is a spring season, a start date of on or after April 27th, there will not be an MIAA tournament. MIAA said it will continue to monitor this fluid situation and provide updates regarding spring sports as soon as they are made available. Okay, well, that isn't where we're going. As we're all shut off from one another during the outbreak of COVID-19, we're happy to see some of you are still submitting photos for the photo of the week, showing that you're still enjoying the simple things in life during these uncertain times. This week's photo shows that not everyone minds everything being closed. This was sent in by Justin Mitchell and features his family's 7-year-old dog, Cooper, an Australian Shepherd, enjoying some time outside with a stick. Keep enjoying the good life, Cooper. Thanks for the photo, Justin. We'd like to see your photos, as we tell you every week. They could be of something you see around town, the weather outside your own door, or even photos of your family members and pets. Whatever you think is interesting and would like to share with us and the community. Email your photos to bcat@bcattv.org with the subject line, Photo of the Week. Okay, that's it. Special thanks to Executive Director Jen Dodge and reporter Robert Paris and Chris Flaherty for coming in, again, our slimmed down staff, and making this broadcast of BNews happen. Thank you. Good evening.